What y'all see first again?
Hey y'all, I wanted to inform you of an interesting conversation taking place online right now and hear your thoughts. So, let's start. So, there's a strange little doll that people are obsessed with at the moment, seemingly overnight. But it all started back in 2024 when a K pop idol named Lisa of the girl group Blackpink was spotted clutching a creepy little doll with a devilish grin while in Thailand. And it's called a Labubu. It was cute, kind of ugly, and definitely whimsical. But the public raved over it and hurried to purchase their own once they spotted hers. And its popularity went global from there. Now, when I first saw it, my immediate thought was that it looked like something straight out of the book series Where the Wild Things Are. That round head with the huge smile and the super sharp teeth that made you feel torn between wanting to pet it and run from it. Labubu dolls seemed to be everywhere. There were viral TikTok unboxings, blind box drops, and crazy collectors forums all of a sudden. It was like everyone and their mom suddenly wanted one to the point where people were being targeted and even stolen from. What started as a niche designer figure suddenly turned into this global must have in a matter of months. But if you've been online long enough, you know that sometimes things don't go viral by accident. When something is being pushed this hard through curated trends, celebrity chance sightings, and influencer hauls, it makes me wonder, why this? Why now? And who does this benefit? This wouldn't be the first time we've seen a toy sweep through culture with strange momentum. Remember the Ouija board? Sometimes wrapped in pastel packaging in toy stores for children, as if it wasn't designed for literal spirit communication. But people played with it like it was just another board game. And they laughed off the odd occurrences that came from using it until they couldn't. Until some people started hearing voices in their homes, or seeing figures, or having sleep disturbances after using it. And then people realized that those boards were actually not toys, but portals to an unseen realm. And they weren't just talking to nothing, they were sometimes communicating with otherworldly beings. Now, I'm grateful that as a kid, I watched way too many scary movies to ever want one. And I don't know anyone who plays with those boards for fun these days. Do you? I feel like people understand that that is not a toy. To be clear, the creator of the Labubu doll doesn't claim it's anything supernatural. It's a collectible item, and it's just a toy monster elf, according to the Hong Kong-born Dutch designer Kay Sing Lung. And yet some people say it carries a disturbing energy, or that they or their children have experienced unusual, strange phenomenon while owning one. Some people say that they've even felt like they're being watched. And, maybe it's nothing. Maybe they're just attention seekers, or they could be paranoid. Some people even call it religious psychosis. All fair enough. But, being the curious humans that we are, it makes many of us wonder. One thing that occurred to me was that celebrities usually promote things most people would have to break the bank to afford, like high-end designer clothes, red bottom shoes, Birkin bags, or $1,000 skin routines. But Labubu? You can get one for under $100. In fact, you can collect many of them without overspending. And that's kind of odd. It's like they want them in every home. It's like they want people to buy them for their kids without a second thought. Could it be that the marketers are just great business people who strategically price this product in a way that encourages buyers to collect them all affordably? Of course. But could it mean something else too? Certainly. Disclaimer, in this video, I'm not trying to fearmonger you or make you toss your doll or change your mind about getting them if you want them. Here, we're just listening to what people are saying with an open mind. Not so open our brains fall out, but, open. Because being completely closed-minded and taking everything at face value and following every trend and saying it's just a trend, it's not a big deal, is another way of being mentally lazy and sometimes even gullible. So, let's get into some content creators' think pieces and hot takes. I won't be back on the back end, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject because this stuff is so interesting to me. Mysteries, myths, folklore, I love it all. So let's get into it. Make sure to leave your comments in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.
What does a kid's doll and a 6,000-year-old Sumerian demon have in common? It sounds like a weird combo, right? Have you ever heard of the Labubu dolls? There are a whole bunch of influencers and elite celebrities that get these Labubu dolls and put them on their designer purses and stuff, like an accessory. Do you know where Labubu inspiration comes from? You are going to be shocked. Have you ever heard of Pazuzu? He's not just ancient history. He's an ancient Sumerian wind demon. And he might be hiding in your toy box. So let's talk about Labubu and the wind demon. Long ago, in dust-swept cities of ancient Mesopotamia, mothers whispered the name Pazuzu when the desert winds howled in the night. He was feared as a demon of storms and famine, but he was also secretly invoked to protect children. He protected them from even worse evils. In ancient Mesopotamia, we had a lot of children-eating demons. Even Lamashtu, that later on became Lilith, was considered a demon that would snatch children away. So centuries passed, and these names faded away, until an archaeologist unearthed a strange bundle in the ruins of a temple near modern-day Iraq. Wrapped in a little linen bound, with hair and real bones, was a doll. This doll was primitive and cracked. It had large obsidian eyes, a stitched mouth that was sealed tight, and a strange symbol that was stitched into the cloth belly. And beneath it was a fragment of cuneiform that read, "To bind the wind, so its shadow." This doll was brought into the West and forgotten in an archive. Until one day, a toy manufacturer with a deep interest in the occult stumbled upon this story. She said this doll spoke to her in her dreams. So this vision inspired her to create this line of dolls. She called them Labubu. Each doll had a stitched mouth, wide eyes, and a small charm resembling an ancient Sumerian amulet that was stitched and tucked inside the chest cavity of the doll. These toys were marked as comforting toys, that these toys would protect your children from monsters. That is, until the kids started whispering dolls at night. Some say that the dolls whisper back, while other children say that these dolls protect them from nightmares. Now get this, there are some freak accidents that have been happening around these dolls. In one case, a house was torn apart by what the insurance called a freak localized wind event. But the child inside remained untouched. And guess what the child was cradling? A Labubu doll. Did a demon come through the wall and the Labubu doll growl at him? This is what a lot of kids are saying. The sigil embedded in each doll's chest matched invocations to Pazuzu, but not as a destroyer, as a guardian. So did this toy designer uninvertedly set Pazuzu free? To this day, some people believe that if you leave a Labubu doll on the windowsill, the wind will never touch your home, while others are convinced that Pazuzu are watching people through the Labubu doll's eyes. The Labubu dolls were supposed to be cute, but are they? And is Pazuzu a guardian of children or a demon? What do you think?
This video was for entertainment purposes only.
What happened?
His eye just turned green.
What do you mean they turned green?
Oh, hell nah.
Don't throw it to me! What happened?
It just turned green and I was cleaning my room.
What do you mean it turned green?
It's his eye.
His eye?
Yeah. It's actually getting too small.
happened?
His eye just turned green.
What do you mean they turned green?
Oh, hell no.
Good morning. Okay. Alright. So my whole inbox is full of, can we talk about Pazuzu and Labubu? Okay. I was not aware that people are saying that these Labubu dolls are a depiction of Pazuzu. They're monster elves, right? And they're sold by Pop Mart, and they're a trend. Okay. Anything can be a conduit to carry a deity. Pazuzu is a deity. Okay. So if someone puts it out there that these things are conduits to carry something, and it follows, like egregores are built, okay, then they can house energy of Pazuzu. They can absolutely house energy of Pazuzu. Plain and simple. I see people go, at some point, when are we going to realize it's religious psychosis? Technically, yes. But technically, no. Because if somebody is actually believing with all their heart and soul and putting the energy into the fact that the energetic bounds on these dolls are low for a deity to come and set up shop, okay, and calling, I heard, I'll get it later, okay, and calling essentially Pazuzu to this, then yeah, it's gonna happen. Absolutely. I've seen several things on TikTok now, people saying it's for sure Pazuzu, and it's for sure these dolls being like a conduit for Pazuzu. Hang on. Alright, so anyway, the fact that the world is talking about this and it is spread worldwide on TikTok tells me overnight, somehow, some way, okay, that the belief that Pazuzu's romping around in these dolls' Labubu is happening, which tells me, okay, that the fact that all this is happening tells me that there's going to be cases and that people are going to have to deal with it because of the fact that the energy boundaries that are on this doll are gone. People now actually believe that it's Pazuzu. And if the eyes are turning green and they're experiencing events like Pazuzu, that's good. That's really bad. That's terrible. That's not good. Pazuzu is a horrible demon. Horrible. Responsible for death, even. So, maybe stay away from Labubus, unless you're going to bless your Labubus and keep the energetic bounds on them and go, no, Pazuzu's not welcomed here, and do the ritual to keep your Labubu safe from Pazuzu. And that's what I think about this trend. Have a good one.
I keep telling y'all better stop following trends. That Labubu doll is evil, and now y'all about to find out. So it's a video of this girl saying that she's throwing her Labubu away because it's evil. She said she was asleep in her room and she woke up with a scar on her neck. Mind you, of course, nobody's in her room with her. And there was no other way for her to get the scar on her neck. Matter of fact, look at this shit. Look at this shit.
I had to throw my Labubu away.
Listen.
And that's what I did. Cut the show. Cut the motherfucking show. Y'all. Look at this.
Look at them all.
That's a dumb motherfucking hickey. That is
How did
not
that get
scratch.
there?
My nose are not even that long or sharp for me to scratch myself. I took a nap, y'all, like an hour and a half nap right now. And I woke up and I literally looking at myself all day today in the mirror. I was like, oh, period, body tea, like that's how I've been all day today. And I was in the restroom right now and I was obviously looking at myself again when I woke up. And I noticed this, like, so that means I was getting myself all day today. I would have noticed this,
okay,
like, whatever this is on my neck, right?
So she said her brother said he came in at 3 o'clock in the morning. And when he came in, a door that he left open was fully closed. Who closed the door? And then look at what the Simpsons said about that Labubu doll. We already know that the Simpsons always tell the truth about what's going on. And this ain't the only time somebody is saying that something happened with one of those Labubu dolls. I mean, look at the dolls. They look evil. They look like something is wrong. Why would you buy a doll that looks like that? Okay. Keep playing with these things and y'all gonna run into issues. I'm out.
So the Labubus are evil now? According to social media, that's what I'm hearing. The Labubus are evil. This reminds me of back when Tickle Me Elmo came out. And if you're old enough to know what happened back then you're old enough to know. Everybody swore that Tickle Me Elmo had green, like, secretions coming from its mouth and that it was laughing uncontrollably. So people started taking back Tickle Me Elmo to the stores during Christmas time because they were just convinced Tickle Me Elmo was crazy. This also happened with like Tamagotchi. It happened with like Hello Kitty. I mean, it just happened with everything that was sensationally widespread popular. I'm not saying the Labubus aren't evil. There has been several stories on this here app and even on other social media platforms that were like they experienced their eyes turning green or the smile was getting bigger. And then The Simpsons also had a depiction of their own version of Labubus on their show. And it looked like, you know, the Baphomet or whatever, the devil. So, I mean, I'm not one to say that they're not evil, but I just know this happens when anything of popularity is extremely popular really fast. And there are like mass claims that they're seeing things that nobody else has seen with the product. And we're all supposed to believe it. So, but yeah, apparently the Labubus are evil, so don't buy one.
Hi everybody, so nobody asked for my opinion on this, but I'm going to share it. This is for people who have an issue with Labubus or whatever, okay? This is so ridiculous, but listen. If you have never collected a plush toy, a figurine, anything like that, if you're not a collector, if you don't enjoy little collectible things like tchotchkes, why would you enjoy this? Why would you magically wake up one day and be like, oh my God, I love that. Like this of all things is probably one of the scariest, like ugliest looking toys out there. So why would you like this? I don't know. It's fun. It's people's personal style. Like if you don't like something, you don't have to hate it. Nobody's forcing you to like it. That's all I have to say. I love you. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye. Mwah.
One of the more interesting things I've seen on my FYP lately is demonic Labubus, or at least the theory that Labubus are demonic. Now, honestly, I have not partaken in this trend. I don't own any Labubus or Lafufus, so I'm not too sure. But it is really interesting that every generation or so, there seems to be a toy that attracts the lure of the demonic. At one point, when I was younger, it was Hello Kitty. Then it became Furby dolls. And you can just probably Google any number of examples. But I do think it's interesting. Now, most people see these as cute, cuddly toys doomed to become landfill fodder after the trend ends. But honestly, aside from the mischievous disposition here, I don't really see anything wrong with it. I think it's just a harmless creature. That's my personal opinion. However, if we did want to draw comparisons to its appearance, then if you like a series of unfortunate events, the Lemony Snicket book series, you might also consider that Sunny Baudelaire is also a demon as well. She has the exact same characteristics, small, cute, with pointy teeth and a mischievous disposition, very intelligent, but honestly, I think it is a bit of a reach. Although, if you have had your own supernatural experiences with the Labubu/Lafufus, I would love to hear about them. I know that one of my mutuals, Parahan, talked about it in one of his videos. And if you are somebody who believes that Labubu/Lafufus are vessels for demonic entities, I would love to know that in the comments. And if you don't mind sharing why as well. But personally, it's really a toss-up. I don't believe they are. I think Cabbage Patch Kids were a vessel at one point. Hello Kitty was a vessel at one point. Furbies were a vessel at one point. They are the source of many no sleep. So honestly, it just seems like this is a trend every generation. However, if you really have had supernatural occurrences surrounding these things here, I am so curious to know what they are. But anyways, drop your thoughts in the comments and I will see you guys in my next video.